Guys, no intro today. We have an emergency. Crypto is dead. Bitcoin is dead. Ordinals are dead. BRC20s are dead. Taps are dead. Bitmaps are dead. Everything is dead. It's all over. We lost everything. We're all fucked. We're all screwed. It's completely over. Let me bring in my co-host so we can talk about this. Yagobi, what is going on? The world is over. Stock markets are dead. Crypto is dead. Bitmaps is dead. It's all over. We have an emergency.
Yeah. I saw like Bitcoin crashing today, and it's funny because I had a feeling that like the low could be like that 24 because we just range, and the market makers just grab liquidity. But then like with all this other news that you had brought up about SpaceX selling the Bitcoin, and then China having just issues again with Evergrande. Man, it just seems like it's like a cumulative like avalanche that's kind of
Yeah.
rolling through crypto right now and all the markets really.
You got to help me, man. So is it over? Is it over? Should we just sell everything now? Take the pennies off the table and just? Are we done?
No, actually, this is a great opportunity in my mind. I told you earlier that I hope that Ordi like drops really low because I feel like if you can get into Ordi like at a couple of dollars,
Yeah.
that's a great entry. If you believe in ordinals, then Ordi is, in my opinion, just a great opportunity to buy in at a cheap entry. But I'm thinking like automatically right now in my head, like just off the top, like Ordi, Track,
Yeah.
Sats, those pillars of the BRC20 market.
So you're saying this is a big nothing burger. We're all good. We're all good to go. This is a buying area right now for the bull run next year.
Yeah, and I know I didn't pay a whole lot of attention in 2018. I did really get involved with crypto aggressively in 2017, and from the like centralized exchange standpoint. But then like once that like bullish time period passed, I just kind of faded back out of crypto. But I did keep my eye on it, and I do remember like 2018 is very much like 2023 in terms of like kind of finding a way up to like 6,000, and then first like that ultimate crash down in like the winter, coming down from 20,000 all the way down to like 3,000, and then finding that 6,000 and fluctuating, and then finally towards the end of 2018 went down 50%. I actually kind of feel like it's very similar energy from what I remember.
Yeah. So I mean, if you are right, and it is, let's just say it's 2019 because the halving was 2020 and the halving is 2024. If I remember correctly from looking at the charts, Bitcoin took a dive from September to December. December was bad. Was one of the first Decembers. Well, not first, but was one of the many Decembers that were kind of really bad. I mean, there was a lot of good ones, so I meant saying many's wrong, but there was a bunch of Decembers where they were really good, and that was 2019 was a bad September, but we had a really good January, February, and then everyone knows what happened in March. Do you feel something similar? Do you feel like maybe we'll have an earlier bull run next year
Yeah.
because of the COVID?
Well, I think, yeah. So I think it's going to be earlier than like the 2018-19 period, because
Yeah.
crypto still during that period was like there wasn't a ton of people that were interested in it. Right now
Yeah.
that is just completely different. So the interest level is much higher now in crypto. So I do expect the end of this year to tip back up and then head into the bull run of 2024. In my opinion,
Yeah.
anybody like every people right now that are guessing, everybody could be wrong, right? But
Yeah.
that's how I feel. I do agree with the analyst. I got to find his name. He's an Asian guy that's on like CNBC or one of the finance. I don't think it was Fox Money, but one of them. But anyways, he was saying that like if the ETF doesn't come in 2023, even if it doesn't come in early 2024, we could probably look at that like right under six-figure range, maybe like $20,000 gap.
Yeah.
But if it does come, he does expect it to go over six figures, as I do. So
Yeah.
either way, we're gonna beat the previous all-time high, in my opinion.
And it's all kind of playing out the same way. Obviously next year they're going to have to drop rates. Obviously next year we have a presidential election, and every election year is great for markets. And obviously next year we will have a Bitcoin ETF. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it has to be next year because there's demand. And when there's demand, there will be, the big guys push on the politicians' pockets, and when you push on their pockets, things happen. And with the election season coming, they're going to want to make all their donors happy, and they're going to do what they say. And especially Larry Fink of BlackRock, being one of the biggest party donors to the Democrats, maybe ever, has an influence on the Biden administration. And this next year will be the year of the ETF, no matter what. There's no if whens. It's just there's no if and buts. It's definitely just whens, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Bitcoin to me is inevitable, right? To be when people say that in like 10 years it's going to be hard to own a full Bitcoin, I
Yeah,
completely agree with that. I think it's it's always like hindsight is always like 2020, right? So like whenever you don't take advantage of like an asset and you feel like because it moves slowly, because everything in crypto right now is like a week seems like a year, right?
yeah,
um but in actuality, like a year later, Bitcoin could be up 500%, 600%, and
right.
especially 5 years. That's the biggest thing, right? Like when we look 5 years down the gap, down the road, and I think that's whenever those like Larry Fink and BlackRock and stuff, they're going to be, it's just going to be a natural part of their asset ecosystem.
Yep. Yep, it's a part of their bigger picture, or you can say it's part of their diversification or diversification, which is huge with those guys. They like to have their money spread all over the place, and it's stupid not to have it in Bitcoin when it potentially has the maybe potential world currency. So
Yeah.
the only decentralized world currency ever, and I don't think anything could possibly come close to it besides maybe Ethereum, because
Yeah.
potentially if
And,
AWS doesn't fuck it first.
yeah. And I think a lot of that is going to have to be determined on how countries like El Salvador and, Argentina's
Yeah,
presidential campaign run right now. One of the people that got, I guess they came out of the primaries, and so he's in the race, like the real race, right?
yeah,
He is super pro Bitcoin. He wants to shut down the central bank, and it, you know, Argentina could be the second major country that's
yeah,
large that will accept Bitcoin as legal tender. So it's kind of interesting. These Latin America countries are doing it. A lot
yeah,
of people are saying like a lot of wealth will be transferred to the southern hemisphere countries, which would be Central, South America, Africa. So just really interesting to keep track of that, right? Because I think there's going to have to be a couple that really have some success with it,
yeah.
and then it'll catch. But as of right now, it's just not. Um, it's not the countries aren't ready for a legal tender for Bitcoin, in my opinion.
Well, El Salvador is thriving. Everything I hear about it said that a couple years ago they were I mean, obviously it's the president there. The
Yeah,
president is really kicking ass. He's really putting his foot on crime, and
exactly.
really, so I mean, obviously Bitcoin is something he's pushing, but he's also doing a lot of things. So it might not be Bitcoin there, but it's definitely El Salvador is definitely changing for the better. I mean, I'm just an American living in an American city, and I'm hearing things, so I don't know what's actually going on, because you never really know what's actually going on unless you're boots on the ground. But everything I'm hearing and seeing off the internet seems to be pretty uprising.
Yeah, yeah, and you are right. Like he has gone into the country, cleaned it up, taken charge over there, and I think that's where a lot of things can start for turning a country around. People
Yeah,
want to feel safe, right? Then Bitcoin can come in there and solve some other issues in terms of just having the asset grow in value, and people like regular people in that country holding it, not realizing that they're holding it for long term, and all of a sudden, in a 6 month swing, they had Bitcoin in their wallet because they got it issued by the country or whatever,
yeah,
and that Bitcoin turns into like 1,000% increase or something. So I'm excited to see what happens to El Salvador, because it's going to definitely pave the way.
yeah. Well, we're speaking about countries. Let's dig into another thing. I know that we're not. This isn't ordinals, and we don't normally do this, but I think it's definitely something we should talk about. So China's biggest bank I think they're more than their biggest bank. I think it's kind of like almost their world bank, or what's that? Their biggest bank. Like,
Is that central
is it their
bank?
central bank? Is it their
I
central
don't
bank?
think so.
Okay.
Um, so it's a property giant, right? So they do a lot.
Yeah.
It's basically kind of like the 2008 situation, where if they and a lot of people knew that Evergrande has been in trouble, like
Yeah.
for a while, but they officially filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy, is what in New York.
Yeah.
So you know, um, but a lot of people are saying this is kind of baked in already.
Okay.
Um,
Well, right when this news came out, that's when Bitcoin was taking its biggest step. That's when I seen some of the altcoins that haven't been hit yet got hit the hardest between the time that this was released and the time that Elon supposedly SpaceX dumped their $386 million worth of Bitcoin.
yeah.
So it was like at the same time, boom, boom.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem with Evergrande that people are freaked out about is that they owe 171 domestic banks money, right?
Yeah,
And 122 other financial firms. So they're in debt to these. So like that hurts the basically like the infrastructure banking system of China,
yeah,
right? 171 banks within their system. And China, like a year ago, 2 years ago, during the COVID crisis, like right at, I'll say like a year, their citizens, which are not really known to kind of, rebel and stuff because of the way the governments ran there,
yeah,
like were at the banks pissed wanting to withdraw their money, and they weren't able to at that time. So I don't know if this is going to affect that even more, but they're definitely going through a credit crunch, or they will probably will go through a credit crunch following this as well.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens for China.
Well, that's the thing.
they're a
Okay.
huge player, huge
Yeah.
economic player. So they go down, it affects all the big players too.
Exactly what I was just about to say. Like, so when SBF went down, it wasn't just SBF went down. It was everything underneath it as well. Everything that they owed money to, whether that be Arrows Capital, Three Arrows Capital, BlockFi went down right after. There was a shitstorm happened afterwards. So, like, what's about to happen now? Was there a shitstorm coming with the actual traditional Chinese banks? Are they about to get hit as well?
Well, I mean, they're not going to get the money that's owed to them. And we're talking
Yeah,
about 171 domestic banks. And these are probably not like small country towns in China banks. We're
yeah,
probably talking about several in major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, other big cities as well in China, right? So it could cause a big fear storm,
yeah.
but I think it's just this news for any of the major countries would affect any markets, right? So we got to kind of
For
see how
sure.
this plays out.
For sure. All right. Well, people come here for ordinals. They don't come here for world news or anything like that. So let's dig right into it. You want to get into the markets?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let me share my screen.
So today's been red, obviously. Just not for Bitcoin, but for the ordinals and BRC20s and markets. And if Tap had a marketplace, they'd probably be down as well. So let's
Yeah.
dig right into it. Let's go right into our Unisat.
Yeah, let's do it. So, BRC20 market, I actually took a glance at this. It didn't seem okay. So it looks like it's changed within an hour or two. So it looks like, yeah, a lot of red with some green in there.
I see it.
Yeah,
Green.
not too bad in the top 25, but the top three. So sats, down 5.67%. They're always in the top three. So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised. It's more volume, right? So they're down 5.67%. Ordi is down 11.74%. This is one that I've been looking at. So they're at
Damn, $4.
$4.23. Keep your eye on this, not financial advice, but like for me specifically, if they get to $2 or something like that, for me, that's something that I personally am going to probably jump into. But there's that. BTCS, this is something that's catching a lot of momentum. I saw there's the Chinese communities behind this. They have good branding. They're basically saying this is like another kind of currency for the ordinal space. They have Twitter now. If you look it up, they have a new logo that's pretty cool looking, as like BTC in there, like a coin with the S at the basically on the last layer of the logo. really cool. They're at 8 cents right now. They've been kind of rocking it the past 3 days. Track is down 12%.
A lot.
Yeah, they're at 35 cents. So
Mhm.
I mean, still 35 cents, not anything huge. Like if they get down
Yeah.
to, for me, like I'm looking at like entry price rise. I'm probably personally looking at, something like if they can get down to 20, that'd be a big win. If they can get down below that, that's a huge win.
I'm
Um,
looking for 28 cents.
yeah,
I purchased at 38 cents last time it dipped, and if we can get below 28 cents, I'm a buyer. Not
gotcha.
financial advice.
Gotcha. And then Grum is a even, so they're at
Grumpy
point oh,
cat.
yeah, they're at point oh nine stats. They're always in the top 25 lately, huh?
They are
Yeah,
top
so
five, really.
yeah, I mean, keep your eye on them, just because there's probably gonna be what would you think, like 3 to 4 memes that end up surviving.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be Grumpy Cat. It's definitely going to be one of them. I definitely think
We
Sats is definitely
we
one of them, and potentially We. That's the three that I think.
not potentially. I mean, I'm very confident in we, and it's because more of like the OKX.
Yeah,
I mean, like their price is like 20 cents or
I
something like
agree.
that. So,
Yep.
and then you have Oshi down 1.87%. They are priced at 11.40, so not too bad from
Nope.
the past couple days. XBTC, something new, probably another just play off of BTC, but
Yeah.
they're new, so they're up 132%. So it must be somebody pushing that. Council, they've taken a hit. They're up
Yeah.
1.38%, but their price is really 176. So they've gone down about like $50 from the last time we checked, 50 to
Yeah,
60
but
dollars.
I'm actually I want to stop on here real quickly. So the council, I think it's time to get bullish on the council. I think these prices are really juicy right now, and I was actually thinking about buying a little bit more because we know that they are dropping their PFP project and they're dropping it towards the end of this month. I'm not sure if the date is official yet, so I don't want to give what I think is going to be. But I think by owning one of these, you are automatically on the whitelist. So you get, I mean, potentially this is going to go up. This could run up before. I mean, there's only 10,000 of these. So there could be a potential huge run up here. Not financial advice. I'm not 100% sure. But these PFPs are highly sought after. And so there'll be yellow ones and orange ones. The yellow ones will be going to people around the space. Um, I'm really hoping I get one. We did have them on the show. I'm begging. I know. I'm a loser. I know, but it would be cool to have a yellow one. But if not, the orange ones are awesome, and I definitely want one. And maybe I'll put a few in different wallets. Maybe get a couple. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, they definitely have some stuff that's getting dropped. I know a lot of people are waiting on that. So just be patient. Is what I'm going to do. Not telling you
Yeah,
to do that, but
I
yes,
think it's this month, man. I just
yeah.
think. I just think.
OXBT down 27.54%, which is not as bad as it looks because they're at 50 sats and they were down as low, I think, to 40 a couple days
Yeah,
ago. So they did have a pump up to, I want to say, 70, maybe 80. So yeah, so keep your eye on them. Meme back in the top 24. They're up 44%. They're probably at $6 or something, $9. Okay, they have a short supply. I know that. ETH is down 8.33%.
yeah,
ETCS is up 137%. Probably something new, definitely jumped up here. TAP, which is not associated with the TAP
yeah.
protocol, but it's up 14%. HSAC is down 3%. Um, and
I
then
love H.
JKA1, they're even at 0.02. SBTC, gosh, there's just too many damn plays off of BTC. I like, there's too many. There's
Yeah,
too many. But anyways, it's up 17.39%. SZAB, I have not seen this in here for a while.
long time.
Yeah, so they're even. Let's see what their
That was
price.
one of the first BRC20s that I bought. I think
Yeah.
I bought it up around like $18.
Well, it's a play off of
Nick
isn't it?
Szabo,
Yeah, Nick Szabo. That's right. Nick Szabo. Excuse me.
who
And
I
then
think is one of the three members of Satoshi, but it's my opinion.
so they're at $4 around that range. Ogan down 25%. This is something that I saw recently jump in here. Dogs up 23%. Dot BTC. This is
Another one.
the fourth or fifth play off of BTC. Damn it. It's up 92%. And then Buffy. Wow, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is back in the
Yeah.
top 24. Even. Recursive number 22, and they're up 9.31%, probably 5 cents. 5 cents.
And they are not a part of the recursive rsv.io guys. And
Yeah.
if you watched our video, you know this, but if you're buying this because you think it's their token, you are buying community token. It's not
Yeah.
their specific token.
Yeah, and maybe I think he said something about like they're taking a look at it or something, didn't they? Or I don't know.
No, they
Maybe he
said
was
that
talking about if they might do their own or something later.
he said down the line if there's a revenue for it, they'll do it, but
Yeah.
they're not really thinking about or talking about it as of right now.
Gotcha. And then you have Ord's Games is $OG $. They are up 3.75% and sitting at 4 cents. This one was way up at like I bought this at like 40 cents or something. I lost a lot.
Yeah,
But you know, like the builder, the team Ord's Games, you know, they constantly build. Z over there, the founder. We might have him on the show. You know, the thing about them is they're talented. So I'm okay, like even though it dropped that much, because
yeah,
I didn't buy a whole ton. I have just some to where if it takes off, 21 million supply, you never know where it could go, right?
yep,
And
yeah,
that
man.
is the BRC20 market update.
All
Weekly
right, all
market
right, all
update.
right. Emergency update. No,
Yeah.
I will take you guys over to my screen and show you guys the Magic Eden marketplace. So we have Ordinal Maxibiz sitting at 0.192. We have BTC DGod sitting at 0.5. We have the Bitcoin Frogs back up to 0.0285. And then
Yeah.
we have the so let's get into
Ribbit.
that. They are ribbiting again. These guys were down about 50%, I want to say, from where they are right now just last week. What do you think's going on with that?
I think there's a lot of flippers that are supposedly out of it, and they were the people that were supposedly like leaders in the community.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say any names, but that's what I think is going on with it. But we'll see. You know, I mean, they said that they sold their last frog, and that was probably like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and now we're almost back to three. So hopefully this continues.
I agree. I agree. Ordinal Punk sitting at 0.26 floor. Osh Cash. So this is something that I think we have to start digging into more. We definitely had Sonic. We had Sonic on the show, and basically we need to find out more about what is going on with this project. We talked about his background, but I think we got to have him on again and really dig deep. And maybe he can share his screen and actually show us how to burn one of these. Maybe I'll burn one of mine if it comes on live. We'll see.
Yeah,
We're definitely looking to these. They're up almost 100%.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's building up in China that is starting to get like momentum. And once it shows promise, then it'll pick up it over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
agree.
what's happening with Oshkash.
And we'll get into the bitmaps. We have it sitting at 0.0014. This did not really take a hit today like everything else. Let's go right into my normal thing here. Where is that? Right there. Got a bunch of things here. Where is that? We having issues here with Magic Eden. Why is it not showing me the 3 digits?
Something might be wrong with the filter.
Yeah, the filter's not working here. What we'll have to skip it for this market update. We'll get back to it next time. Magic Eden has bugs. So this is something brand new here. Nocturnal Maxi. It just came out, sitting at 0.0134. There is 222 of these things, and I see a lot of PFPs these days with these images right here.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like an inverse color feet like effects or whatever. And
Yeah,
they look so much like the goblins.
they do. Definitely. We have the apes on Bitcoin sitting at 0.11. Lil Peepo sitting at 0.057. Bitcoin pumps sitting at 0.02. And we have the Bitcoin bandit sitting at 0.09. I want to talk about Bitcoin punks real quick. So they are over on tap now, and they're kind of tapping out over there. I'm curious your opinion on the tap Bitcoin punks.
What do you mean they're tapping out? They're not. People aren't
Like,
moving them.
no. They're minting them over there. They're minting
Oh,
basically the same images. They're doing the curse versions. They're doing thing, and I was lucky enough to pick one up of the originals over there, the Tap Bitcoin Punks. You actually walked me through how to do that, and yeah, so I just keep if you go over to Tap, um, you can definitely see that they are constantly minting. So
yeah. And I think like the OTC was like really there's a lot of energy going on in the track
yeah,
Discord to sell those and trade those. My thing is I'm not a big fan of curse stuff, and until they can figure out how not to lose curse inscriptions
yeah,
whenever you're sending a transaction, right? Because right now they're not being recognized. They're actually being just compiled into your sats that you're sending
yeah.
for transaction fees. So for me, I just don't. I'm not huge on them, and I actually am against cursed tokens. I mean, I know like
Yeah,
the tap token was cursed. I'm fine if they just limit it to that because I think the team minted out all of the regular tap. But
yeah.
like if you start doing cursed versions of like these other projects that released it, to me that's just not going to be, you know what I mean? Like I just don't like it. I don't like
I
it,
don't either.
because it's like you're duplicating the supply, and it should token wise, it shouldn't be recognized. I can understand like maybe that honorary first tap, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
So, what do you think after talking to Benny last Sunday? What do you think he's going to do with those tap tokens?
The cursed ones
Probably
or the original
no,
ones?
the OGs. Because I want some. Hey Benny, need to look out for the cookout, bro. Send us some tap.
Yeah, I
Airdrop
mean,
that to the community of what if I say if you inscribed tap tokens, you should get the airdrop. I think you should airdrop them to everyone who didn't inscribe. Every single wallet that has inscribed anything on the tap protocol should get the tap airdrop. Just my opinion.
yeah. That well, uh, maybe how many would you just? I guess you would just divide it evenly, but
Yeah, you just
you
dive about
would.
it evenly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that he's gonna have to do like an airdrop or some sort of like distribution that's fair
Yeah, yeah.
because
That's the
it's
fairest way, though,
well,
right?
I mean,
Like,
like it's that it would be like one of the only like initial tokens that wasn't distributed fairly, and I
yeah,
think that would go against and that's not because I want some. Yeah, of course I want some tap tokens, but it's like you got to think about Ordi. Ordi was the first token that was launched, and it was free
yeah,
for everybody to go and mint it. Tap was pretty much taken by like the initial deployment, but I think he has some plans for it to where it can be fairly distributed, possibly
yeah.
maybe through like a staking mechanism or something like that. Maybe
I
to
didn't
get
even think about
yeah,
that. Yeah,
to get staking going, maybe. Maybe he'll select like a certain amount of projects to reward in tap.
yeah.
Who knows? But that's yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about
Fun to
that.
wonder. Yeah. All right, so let's get into something. So, you were talking to a friend of the show, Block, and he has a project. Definitely would like to get Block on to talk about this more. But what can you tell us about his project?
So, firstly, I want to give a shout out to Big Chief Miami. A little shout out to them because they sent a goodie bag for the show.
The
Um,
Chief.
yeah, Big Chief. They have some good chiefin products. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, really cool people over there at Big Chief Miami. So about the Matrix phone, I'm gonna go into this because to be honest, like I mean, I've dove into it, but like there's there's some more levels to it. So that's why I want to have, like you said, we can maybe get Block on the show. Block's a really cool guy. He has a different way of thinking, in my opinion, because the stuff that he deploys and launches is definitely not like your typical stuff. He likes to be really kind of like innovative in terms of like uniquely innovative, something that somebody's not doing, and it might seem like off, but eventually like it catches your attention. One of those things was Dot Bitter,
Yeah,
and he was the one that started Dot Bitter, which is basically a social kind of SNS kind of like a tag, right, or a domain. Dot Bitter, and then you can inscribe messages to with Unisat or whatever to your dot bidder, and it gets fed on a website, but it's there on the blockchain, right? So that was one thing, and then the Matrix phone was another thing. So I'm going to kind of break down what he told me it's about, or what the Matrix phone is. It's a non-fungible BRC20, and he said that he stumbled upon them, right? So um, it's a free open mint, so it's not minted out yet. The way that you have to mint it, it's like you're minting a regular BRC20, except for the tick. For the tick, you have to put in the Matrix phone emoji. Um, and let's see, he mentioned there's stealth features for the emoji. It doesn't render on all OS operating systems. It's an invisible ticker on some, and it floats above the charts. That's something that he said. So it's like a phone, clamshell phone is what it looks like, right? So really, he's trying to do this like almost ecosystem of these, like the Matrix. So you have your
Yeah.
Matrix phone, you have the rabbit, and then you have I think the third one is going to be like a laptop computer, a Trinity computer, right? He also airdrops like ASCI double I art to for the mentors. So that's something that
Hmm.
he's doing. So it's kind of like some like benefits that you get from it. And then another thing I wanted to talk about real quick that he mentioned. Give me 1 second, because he said, okay, so some phones have begun to inscribe on rare sats and double inscribe with secret images and artwork, etc. So that's a cool part of it, right? Um, you know, one thing he said that like he loves the slow minting process of it because it's not fully minted out. And it's basically leading to like a good holder count, right?
Hmm.
I think like whenever you think of holder count being large, it's typically 9 out of 10 times a good thing. Unless it's like everything is just like free, you know what I mean? And I mean, it still can be good, but I guess if you have like VCs behind it, I'm going to give an example, and this is not a just hate that's intentionally thrown at OXBT, but OXBT is my example. They had I think like 18,000 holders at one point, right? They were like one of the
Hmm.
highest. But then, I don't know if there was VCs behind it or whatever. At the end of the day, there was a point where like, people just started selling a ton off, right? Now that could have been just because it was such a slow moving project, as you mentioned before. But for the most part, a large holder count is a good thing, especially for long term. And that's what he's
Yeah.
seeing with this. So that's really what the Matrix phone is about. And we can have Block back on the show and really kind of talk about it. But I do want to show something cool here. So this right here is pretty cool. The way that they basically use characters for this Matrix phone. So you can see right here at the very top, it says Bitcoin B is surrounding a Matrix phone emoji. So you have to look. I guess this is the hidden message part, right? Um, right here, there's a Bitcoin B. There's the phone, and then H Finney phone nameplate. So Hal Finney for Hal Finney.
Yep.
So there's some kind of little Easter eggs in here. So you can find that if you go follow him at Chain Racing Club on Twitter, Chain Racing Club, and you can
I'll
find,
have it in the show notes.
yeah, Shizzy will put it in the notes, but yeah, you can find his Twitter, give him a follow. The guy's a cool guy, and we'd like to give some shine to some of the community members that are doing stuff
Yeah.
that might not have a ton of like just mainstream shine yet in terms of their
Yep.
project. So um
And
yeah,
Black, if you listen, get in my DMs, bro. Let's schedule you on to actually get some in depth about this. So we're both very, very curious about what's going on. So
for sure. And then we got your boy Nexus.
yeah, so these guys are pretty cool. They come up with these really cool newspaper things, and I tried to steal it once, but it just wasn't anywhere good as what they do. I could bring it up right here. I got it.
Okay.
So yeah, so they put out this couple times a week, and I'm highly impressed with it. If my screen will ever show, are you seeing my screen?
No, there it is.
There we go. All right, so next is Ordinal Nexus Daily News from yesterday. We were supposed to do the show yesterday, but we didn't like the way it was, and we are happy about the emergency update today. So, uh, total number of inscriptions, total trading value. This is great. This is really awesome, and I want to give them attention because I want this daily. I want this every single day. So let's hop over them. I'll have them in the show notes as well, and let's go over to his channel. Let's put some follows on it. Let's get him this because it would be awesome if we somehow get him to do one of these every single day because it makes me happy to look at it. That's all it
Yeah,
does. Makes
I
me happy.
mean, it's definitely a great layout the way he has it, right? And it's basically like showing you like the top performers. I love the
Yeah.
creator of the day. That's where you landed that day.
I was
But
there last week too, so yeah, I was about to go show that last week, and I apologize to those guys for not showing it. It was just a mistake. But like I said, let's get these guys going. Let's get them to do a newsletter. I want this to show up in my mailbox every morning so I can read some Ordinals Nexus. So let's get over there, follow those guys. I'll have them in the show notes.
for sure.
All right, so that's our emergency, guys. We're freaking out. We're selling everything. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. Do
Ever.
as you please, ever, ever, ever. I'm not selling shit. That's just what I'm doing. I'm buying. Maybe not today because this could continue, but I'll be nibbling. I'll be some nibbling at some things that I've been looking at. So if you feel the same, do the same. If you don't, then don't. That's the best part about this. This is free markets. Do what you like and ignore the FUD, guys. It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you don't know what it is, you're feeling it right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, and one thing too, like I bring up 2018-19 because the people that were building in 2018 and 19 are like us. You know what I mean? And the
yeah,
people that are paying attention and still in the community and paying attention every day. Like, Shizzy, me and you are constantly like on our phones, whether it's at work. I hope our bosses aren't listening, but like, like
my boss
we're
watches, so be careful.
no, but the thing is that like we're paying attention because first of all, we're involved with the community, right? We
Yeah,
have the show. We interview people, new builders. We're learning so much. Think about how much we've learned since May.
yeah,
I feel like
yep,
I have so much more of a clear picture of how Bitcoin works now, like
yep,
from a technical perspective, even. And we're not technical
100%.
guys,
Yep,
you know. And but my point of saying all this is the people that stuck with it in 2018 and 19, man, did they benefit in 2020 and 2021 with DeFi summer because unfortunately, I popped back in 2020 and 2021 during DeFi summer, but I didn't know what MetaMask was, and I didn't know what all these things were. I had
mhm,
to learn through YouTube videos and all stuff. Imagine if we had that head start,
yes,
and we just knew what to look for, what projects and all
yep,
this stuff, you know what I mean? So that's why I think like the people that are like grinding it out right now, just keep grinding because
yep,
hard work does pay off, especially if you have a passion for it, like we do.
yep. And if you're in it now, and we all wag me, we're gonna throw a huge Ordinal Revolution party. All of our 500 subs are invited. Only the first 500. So I'm sorry to the 13. But so yeah. So I just want to thank everyone for listening, watching, subscribing. If whether you're on Spotify, Apple, or many of the other ones, even Fountain, if you want to earn sats while you listen to us, man, I just really appreciate you guys every single day. I get excited when I look at the view count and see that you guys are really digging with what we're putting out, and we appreciate that.
For sure. 100%, man. Like, you know, um it's just it's like I know that we're still at that 500 sub mark, but man, like all the support and love that we've gotten from the
Yeah,
ordinal community or just even people that are, not in the ordinal community that watch us, but especially the ordinal community, man. We love you guys. Like we just feel that support and appreciation, and it
family.
makes us want to grind and just keep continually like just put out these founder discussions and man, like just get the best information that we can for you guys. And we love it, man. We can't wait to celebrate with you guys because we know that the ordinal space is going to moon, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but we'll all be on that shuttle together.
Hell yeah. And on that note, thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace.